Hey everybody, Miss Sandlin again. I'm just keeping on reading here. We are in chapter 19. Chapter 18 ended kind of sad. Poor Zoe, poor Annabeth, poor Thalia. Ugh, everybody's having a rough time. But chapter 19, as they've arrived to Olympus now, is called The Gods Vote How to Kill Us, which sounds like we're going from bad to worse. So, let's see how this chapter goes. I don't think I'll be able to get through the whole thing. I'll probably read about half, so we might end up with a cliffhanger. Sorry. All right. The gods vote how to kill us. Flying was bad enough for a son of Poseidon, but flying straight up to Zeus's palace, with thunder and lightning swirling around it, was even worse. We circled over Midtown Manhattan, making one complete orbit around Mount Olympus. I'd only been there once before, traveling by elevator up to the secret 600th floor of the Empire State Building. This time, if it was possible, Olympus amazed me even more. In the early morning darkness, torches and fires made the mountainside palace glow 20 different colors, from blood red to indigo. Apparently, no one ever slept on Olympus. The twisting streets were full of demigods and nature spirits and minor godlings bustling about, riding chariots or sedan chairs carried by cyclopses. Winter didn't seem to exist here. I caught the scent of the gardens in full bloom, jasmine and roses and even sweeter things I couldn't name. Music drifted up from many windows, the soft sound of lyres and reed pipes. Towering at the peak of the mountain was the greatest palace of all, the glowing white hall of the gods. Our Pegasi set us down in the outer courtyard, in front of huge silver gates. Before I could even think to knock, the gates opened by themselves. "Good luck, boss," Blackjack said. Yeah. I didn't know why, but I had a sense of doom. I'd never seen all the gods together. I knew any of them could blast me to dust, and a few of them would like to. "Hey, if you don't come back, can I have your cabin for my stable?" I looked at the Pegasus. Just a thought, boss. Sorry," he said. Blackjack and his friends flew off, leaving Thalia, Annabeth, and me alone. For a minute, we stood there regarding the palace, the way we'd stood together in front of Westover Hall, what seemed like a million years ago. Then, side by side, we walked into the throne room. 12 enormous thrones made a U around a central hearth, just like the placement of the cabins at camp. The ceiling above glittered with constellations, even the newest one, Zoe the Huntress, making her way across the heavens with her bow drawn. All of the seats were occupied. Each god and goddess was about 15 feet tall, and I'm telling you, if you've ever had a dozen all-powerful super-huge beings turn their eyes on you all at once, while suddenly facing monsters seems like a picnic. "Welcome, heroes," Artemis said. "Moo!" And that's when I noticed Bessie and Grover. A sphere of water was hovering in the center of the room, next to the hearth fire. Bessie was swimming happily around, swishing his serpent tail and poking his head out of the sides and bottom of the sphere. He seemed to be enjoying the novelty of swimming in a magic bubble, and Grover was kneeling at Zeus's throne, as if he'd just been giving a report. But when he saw us, he cried, "You guys made it!" He started to run toward me, then remembered he was turning his back on Zeus and looked for permission. "Go on," Zeus said, but he wasn't really paying attention to Grover. The Lord of the Sky was staring intently at Thalia. Grover trotted over. None of the gods spoke. Every clap of Grover's hooves echoed on the marble floor. Bessie splashed in his bubble of water. The hearth fire crackled. I looked nervously at my father, Poseidon. He was dressed similar to the last time I'd seen him, beach shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, and sandals. He had a weathered, sun-tanned face with a dark beard and deep green eyes. I wasn't sure how he would feel about seeing me again, but the corners of his eyes crinkled with smile lines. He nodded as if to say, "It's okay." Grover gave Annabeth and Thalia big hugs. Then he grasped my arms. "Percy, Bessie and I made it, but you have to convince them. They can't do it." "Do what?" I asked. "Heroes," Artemis called. The goddess slid down from her throne and turned to human size, a young auburn-haired girl, perfectly at ease in the midst of the giant Olympians. She walked towards us, her silver robes shimmering. There was no emotion in her face, and she seemed to walk in a column of moonlight. "The council has been informed of your deeds," Artemis told us. "They know a Mount Olympus is rising in the west. They know of Atlas's attempt for freedom and the gathering armies of Kronos. We have voted to act." There was some mumbling and shuffling among the gods, as if they weren't all happy with this plan, but nobody protested. "At my lord Zeus's command," Artemis said, "my brother Apollo and I shall hunt the most powerful monsters, seeking to strike them down before they can join the Titans' cause. Lady Athena shall personally check on the other Titans to make sure they do not escape their various prisons. Lord Poseidon has given permission to unleash his full fury on the cruise ship, Princess Andromeda, and send it to the bottom of the sea. And as for you, my heroes..." She turned to face the other immortals. "These half-bloods have done Olympus a great service. Would any here deny that?" She looked around at the assembled gods, meeting their faces individually. Zeus in the dark pinstripe suit, his black beard neatly trimmed and his eyes sparkling with energy. Next to him sat a beautiful woman with silver hair, braided over one shoulder, and a dress that shimmered colors like peacock feathers. The Lady Hera. On Zeus's right, my father Poseidon. Next to him, a huge lump of a man with a leg in a steel brace, a misshapen head, and a wild brown beard, fire flickering through his whiskers. The Lord of the Forges, Hephaestus. Hermes winked at me. He was wearing a business suit today, checking messages on his caduceus mobile phone. Apollo leaned back in his golden throne with his shades on. He had iPod headphones on, but I wasn't sure he was even listening. He gave me a thumbs up. Dionysus looked bored, twirling a grapevine between his fingers. And Ares? Well, he sat on his chrome and leather throne, glowering at me while he sharpened a knife. On the ladies' side of the throne room, a dark-haired goddess in green robe sat next to Hera, on a throne woven of apple tree branches. Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. Next to her sat a beautiful gray-eyed woman in an elegant white dress. She could only be Annabeth's mom, Athena. Then there was Aphrodite, who smiled at me knowingly and made me blush in spite of myself. All the Olympians in one place. So much power in this room, it was a miracle the whole place didn't blow apart. "I gotta say," Apollo broke the silence, "these kids did okay." He cleared his throat and began to recite. "Heroes win laurels." Yes, first class," Hermes interrupted, like he was anxious to avoid Apollo's poetry. "All in favor of not disintegrating them?" A few tentative hands went up. Demeter, Aphrodite. "Wait just a minute," Ares growled. He pointed at Thalia and me. "These two are dangerous. It'd be much safer while we've got them here." "Ares," Poseidon interrupted, "they are worthy heroes. We will not blast my son to bits." "Nor my daughter," Zeus grumbled. "She has done well." Thalia blushed. She studied the floor. I knew how she felt. I'd hardly ever talked to my father, much less gotten a compliment. The goddess Athena cleared her throat and sat forward. "I'm proud of my daughter as well, but there is a security risk here with the other two." "Mother," Annabeth said, "how can you..." Athena cut her off with a calm but firm look. "It is unfortunate that my father Zeus and my uncle Poseidon chose to break their oath to not have more children. Only Hades kept his word, a fact that I find ironic. As we know from the great prophecy, children of the three elder gods, such as Thalia and Percy, are dangerous. As thick-headed as he is, Ares might have a point." "Right," Ares said. "Hey, wait a minute. Who are you calling?" He started to get up, but a grapevine grew around his waist like a seatbelt and pulled him back down. "Oh, please, Ares," Dionysus sighed. "Save the fighting for later." Ares cursed and ripped away the vine. "You're one to talk, you old drunk. You seriously want to protect these brats?" Dionysus gazed down at us wearily. "I have no love for them. Athena, do you truly think it is safest to destroy them?" "I do not pass judgment," Athena said. "I only point out the risk. What we do, the council must decide." "I will not have them punished," Artemis said. "I will have them rewarded. If we destroy heroes who do us a great favor, then we are no better than the Titans themselves. If this is Olympian justice, I will have none of it." "Calm down, sis," Apollo said. "Geez, you need to lighten up." "Don't call me sis. I will reward them." "Well," Zeus grumbled, "perhaps. But the monster at least must be destroyed. We have an agreement on that? A lot of heads nodding. It took me a second to realize what they were saying. Then my heart turned to lead. Bessie? You want to destroy Bessie? Moo! Bessie protested. My father frowned. You have named the Ophiotaurus Bessie? Dad, I said, he's just a sea creature. A really nice sea creature. You can't destroy him. Poseidon shifted uncomfortably. Percy, the monster's power is considerable. If the Titans were to steal it or... You can't, I insisted. I looked at Zeus. I probably should have been afraid of him, but I stared him right in the eye. Controlling the prophecies never works. Isn't that true? Besides, the Ophiotaurus is innocent. Killing something like that is wrong. It's just as wrong as Kronos eating his children, just because of something they might do. It's wrong. Zeus seemed to consider this. His eyes drifted to his daughter Thalia. And what of the risk? Kronos knows full well if one of you were to sacrifice the beast's entrails, you would have the power to destroy us. Do you think we can let that possibility remain? You, my daughter, will turn 16 on the morrow, just as the prophecy says. You have to trust them, Annabeth spoke up. Sir, you have to trust them. Zeus scowled. Trust a hero. Annabeth is right, Artemis said, which is why I must first make a reward. My faithful companion, Zoe Nightshade, has passed into the stars. I must have a new lieutenant, and I intend to choose one. But first, Father Zeus, I must speak to you privately. Zeus beckoned Artemis forward. He leaned down and listened as she spoke in his ear. A feeling of panic seized me. Annabeth, I said under my breath, don't. She frowned at me. What? Look, I need to tell you something, I continued. The words came stumbling out of me. I couldn't stand it if... I don't want you to... Percy, she said, you look like you're going to be sick. And that's how I felt. I wanted to say more, but my tongue betrayed me. It wouldn't move because of the fear in my stomach, and then Artemis turned. I shall have a new lieutenant, she announced, if she will accept it. Is Artemis gonna pick Annabeth to be a huntress? No, I murmured. Thalia, Artemis said, daughter of Zeus, will you join the hunt? Thalia! Okay. Stunned silence filled the room. I stared at Thalia, unable to believe what I was hearing, and Annabeth smiled. She squeezed Talia's hand and let it go, as if she had been expecting this all along. I will, Thalia said firmly. Zeus rose, his eyes full of concern. My daughter, consider well. Father, she said, I will not turn 16 tomorrow. I will never turn 16. I won't let this prophecy be mine. I stand with my sister Artemis. Kronos will never tempt me again. She knelt before the goddess and began the words I remembered from Bianca's oath, what seemed like so long ago. I pledged myself to the goddess Artemis. I turned my back on the company of men. Afterward, Thalia did something that surprised me almost as much as the pledge. She came over to me, smiled, and in front of the whole assembly, gave me a great big hug. I blushed. When she pulled away and gripped my shoulders, I said, aren't you supposed to not do that stuff anymore? Hug boys, I'm honoring a friend, she corrected. I must join the hunt, Percy. I haven't known peace since Half-Blood Hill. I finally feel like I have a home. But you're a hero. You will be the one of the prophecy. Great, I muttered. I'm proud to be your friend, Percy. She hugged Annabeth, who was trying hard not to cry. Then she even hugged Grover, who looked ready to pass out, like somebody had just given him an all-you-can-eat enchilada coupon. Oh, that's right, the Artemis huntresses smell real good to Grover. Then Thalia went to stand by Artemis's side. Now for the Ophiotaurus, Artemis said. The boy is still dangerous, Dionysus warned. The beast is a temptation to great power, even if we spare the boy. No, I looked around at all the gods. Please, keep the Ophiotaurus safe. My dad can hide him under the sea somewhere, or keep him in an aquarium here in Olympus. But you have to protect him. And why should we trust you? Rumbled Hephaestus. I'm only 14, I said. If this prophecy's about me, that's 2 more years. 2 years for Kronos to deceive you, Athena said. Much can change in 2 years, my young hero. Mother, Annabeth said, exasperated. It is only the truth, my child. It's a bad strategy to keep the animal alive, or the boy. My father stood. I will not have a sea creature destroyed, if I can help it, and I can help it. He held out his hand, and a trident appeared in it, a 20-foot-long bronze shaft with 3 spear tips that shimmered with blue watery light. I will vouch for the boy and the safety of the Ophiotaurus. You won't take it under the sea, Zeus said suddenly. I won't have that kind of bargaining chip in your possession. Brother, please. Zeus's lightning bolt appeared in his hand, a shaft of electricity that filled the whole room with the smell of ozone. Fine, Poseidon said. I will build an aquarium for the creature here. Hephaestus can help me. The creature will be safe. We shall protect it with all our powers. The boy will not betray us. I vouch for this on my honor. Zeus thought about this. All in favor? To my surprise, a lot of hands went up. Dionysus abstained. So did Ares. And Athena. But everybody else... We have a majority, Zeus decreed. And so, since we will not be destroying these heroes, I imagine we should honor them. Let the triumph celebration begin. And I'll stop us there, about halfway in chapter 19. Athena voted to not keep Percy alive. I don't know about that mess. She saved Percy when they were at the Hoover Dam. Well, I guess Annabeth was in danger, so there's that. Anyways, the Olympians, they're very confusing. But we are halfway through chapter 19. Oh my gosh, Thalia joined the Huntresses. That's crazy. She's never going to turn 16. She's 15 years old in 364 days. So she'll be 15 and almost 16 forever, which means the prophecy's never going to be about her. So she just shoved her right onto Percy. Bless him. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Unless some more Olympian Big 3 children crop up, which be kind of dangerous for that to happen. But I'll stop us there. I'll see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Don't forget, we've got Zoom meetings every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 1 o'clock. Comment below if you would have voted to save Percy and the Ophiotaurus, or if you would have been on Athena and Dionysus and Ares' side and said, it might be better if we destroyed him. Let me know in the comments below. Excuse me. And I'll see you guys on